The Dark Legacy of Lilith. Unraveling humanity's first monster. Picture this. A clay tablet, cracked and weathered, emerges from Babylonian ruins after 4,000 years, buried in desert sand. The cuneiform symbols carved into its surface tell tales of something that made ancient physicians tremble. It was something that forced mothers to clutch protective amulets while giving birth, something so terrifying that entire civilizations developed elaborate rituals just to keep it away from their children. Long before Dracula cast his shadow across Transylvania, even before vampire legends swept through European folklore, and Hollywood glamorized fanged aristocrats, there was a name whispered in the darkness: Lamashtu, Lilith, the first predator and the original nightmare that refuses to die. The forgotten origins of fear. What you're about to uncover will shatter everything you think you know about supernatural history. Every vampire myth, every succubus legend, every tale of beautiful demons who drain life from sleeping victims, all trace back to her. Tonight, we are not merely discussing folklore. We are conducting forensic archaeology into 4,000 years of documented terror. We will delve into burial sites where protective amulets were clutched by skeletal hands. We will decipher medical texts that read like supernatural crime reports, tracing a trail of evidence that stretches from ancient Babylon to your own bedroom window. Before we descend into these buried archives, smash that subscribe button like your eternal soul depends on it, and drop a comment telling me which version of Lilith haunted your nightmares before tonight. Your incredible support fuels our exploration into forgotten histories that could stand between you and something that has been hunting humanity since before recorded time began. We aren't examining New Age interpretations or feminist retellings. Tonight, we are conducting a full forensic investigation using archaeological evidence, ununiform translations, medieval grimoires, and documented encounters that span 4 millennia of human terror. This isn't a mythology class. This is supernatural archaeology. This is the real story of humanity's first monster and why she never stopped hunting. Chapter 1. The Babylon Files ###, when gods walked among mortals. Let me take you back to 1875. British archaeologist Hormuz Rassam is excavating the ancient library of Ashurbanipal in Nineveh. His workers uncover thousands of clay tablets. Many are cracked, some nearly powder. Yet one tablet makes the translator's hands tremble as he deciphers its contents. It's a medical prescription, but not for any earthly ailment. If a woman in childbirth is approached by Lamashtu, the daughter of Anu, who descends from the mountain and crosses the river, whose hands drip with the blood of innocents, this tablet offers survival advice written with resolute precision. The archaeological evidence is overwhelming. Between 2500 BCE and 600 BCE, Mesopotamian civilizations, the Sumerians, Babylonians, and Assyrians didn't merely believe in supernatural threats. They documented them with the precision of modern medical journals. Imagine ancient Babylon circa 2000 BCE. Ziggurats pierce the desert sky like cosmic ladders reaching towards star-filled heavens. The Code of Hammurabi governs human affairs, but something else lurks in the night. In this world, the boundary between human and divine is not philosophical. It is perilously thin. Lamashtu appears in over 400 documented cuneiform tablets, not as a mythological figure, but as an active threat demanding practical defensive measures. Overwhelming consistency across time and space, these ancient texts didn't treat Lamashtu as folklore. They approached her as a disease. Tablets separated by centuries and discovered in different cities painted her in the same terrifying precision as an infectious plague. Lamashtu, daughter of Anu, the sky god and ruler of destinies, chose rebellion against heaven's hierarchy. Her crime? Refusing her assigned role as a nurturing mother goddess in favor of appetites that threatened the very fabric of mortal survival. Descriptions of her appearance will haunt your dreams. Ancient texts depict a being of terrible beauty, tall with disproportionately long limbs enabling an impossible reach. Eyes that reflect light like nocturnal predators. Hair described as alive with its own hungers, animated by demonic intelligence. Most unsettling are her feet, taloned like a bird of prey, allowing her to stalk silently across any surface. Her teeth are sharp as obsidian blades. Most terrifyingly, her hands are said to drip with blood that never dries, never coagulates, never stops flowing. Archaeological discoveries reveal the systematic terror she inspired. Bronze amulets found in infant graves illustrate her in her true form, a winged creature with a serpentine lower body. Multiple breasts nurturing demon offspring, hands poised in predatory gestures. Scholars note the artistic ambiguity. No amulet shows her complete form. Ancient artists deliberately avoided accurate representation, fearing that a perfect depiction might summon her presence. The predatory nature of Lamashtu. The methodology documented in these tablets reveals a sophisticated understanding of human psychology. Lamashtu didn't just attack, she infiltrated. She appeared as a helpful midwife, offering assistance during difficult births. She manifested as a concerned relative checking on newborn wellness. She presented herself however necessary to gain the trust required for her diabolical access to unsuspecting victims. But the most terrifying evidence lies in the symptoms of her visitation documented with clinical precision. The ancient texts aren't theoretical, they suggest direct observation. They detail unexplained infant mortality, not random deaths but particular patterns. Children who seemed healthy suddenly wasted away over 7-day periods. Mothers reported vivid dreams of beautiful women offering to hold their babies, only to wake and find their infants pale, weak, refusing to nurse. Additionally, maternal hemorrhaging during childbirth often coincided with encounters with mysterious feminine figures in the days before labor. The blood loss followed patterns that did not match known medical complications. The sudden onset of wasting diseases in children under 2 years old was also documented. Survivors described seeing beautiful women in their bedchambers moments before the appearance of symptoms. The protective rituals reveal even deeper insights into her predatory psychology. According to ancient sources, Lamashtu operates under specific supernatural rules. She cannot enter a home without invitation. However, this invitation can be unintentionally extended through emotional vulnerability, spiritual confusion, or moral transgressions that create openings in the soul's defenses. Mesopotamian priests developed elaborate protective ceremonies exhibiting a remarkably sophisticated psychological understanding. These rituals required not only spoken formulas but comprehensive modifications of lifestyle designed to close psychological vulnerabilities that supernatural predators might exploit. But perhaps the most chilling revelation these tablets expose about Lamashtu is her nature. She isn't simply driven by malice or hunger. She operates under a cursed divine decree condemning her to eternal grief. Every child she kills brings her temporary relief from this anguish, but the relief is fleeting. The grief returns stronger than before, driving her into a relentless hunt. Thus, she embodies both predator and victim of her own eternal torment, making her simultaneously monstrous and tragic. Ancient Mesopotamian understandings of Lamashtu established a template for supernatural predation that would resonate through every subsequent culture's encounter with beings that appear human but operate according to an alien psychology, prioritizing their supernatural needs over mortal welfare. Chapter 2. The Hebrew Cipher Chapter 2. Sacred Texts. The Hebrew Cipher Sacred Texts and Rabbinical Mysteries. Fast forward to Jerusalem. 8th century BCE, the prophet Isaiah receives a divine vision of future desolation. Amid the ruins of Edom, he sees wild beasts claiming the wasteland. But one line in his prophecy makes Hebrew scribes pause during transcription. There shall Lilith repose and find her place of rest. In this single sentence of 14 Hebrew words lies theological dynamite that would explode across centuries of rabbinical interpretation. When Hebrew culture encountered Mesopotamian traditions through conquest, trade, and cultural exchange, something fascinating happened. Lamashtu underwent a transformation that reshaped supernatural understandings forever. She became Lilith, not merely a demonic entity, but a complex puzzle requiring the most sophisticated rabbinical minds to interpret. Hebrew tradition didn't simply inherit Mesopotamian fears. They transformed them into weapons of theological warfare. Imagine the rabbinical schools of medieval Babylon. Brilliant thinkers debated cosmic justice, divine order, feminine autonomy, and supernatural evil. They weren't merely preserving folklore. They were engineering theological solutions to questions threatening the very foundations of monotheistic belief. The transformation into Lilith. According to traditions that developed over centuries, Lilith possessed an equality with Adam that made her unsuitable for a divinely ordained hierarchy. When commanded to assume a submissive position during intimate relations, she invoked the ineffable name of God and flew into the wilderness, where she consorted with demons and birthed supernatural offspring. However, careful textual analysis reveals these narratives as sophisticated theological engineering rather than mere preservation of the past. Medieval rabbis were addressing explosive issues concerning feminine autonomy, sexual equality, and divine justice through interpretive storytelling, providing both explanation and warning. The punishment described in these sources reflects Hebrew understanding of cosmic justice while incorporating Mesopotamian warnings about supernatural predation. Divine decrees imprisoned Lilith in a state of perpetual grief, forcing her to lose 100 demon children daily and building an insatiable appetite for revenge against the species that supplanted her in divine favor. Amulets and protections against Lilith. Jewish communities developed extensive protective traditions based on these interpretations. Mothers clutched amulets inscribed with the names of 3 angels, Tenodi, and Samangaloth believed to possess the power to bind Lilith's supernatural wrath. These weren't mere superstitions. They were emergency protocols developed through generations dealing with the horrors of infant mortality and maternal death during childbirth. The folklore surrounding Lilith evolved significantly as well. Her physical transformation becomes far more terrifying than previously imagined. Following her supernatural corruption, Lilith's feet become permanently taloned, enabling her to stalk silently across any terrain. Her hair grows to impossible lengths, animated by demonic intelligence, allowing it to strangle victims as she feeds on their life force. Most significantly, she acquires shape-shifting abilities that render her nearly impossible to detect. To grieving mothers, she appears as their dead children. To lonely men, she takes form as ideal romantic partners. To the spiritually confused, she presents herself as religious authority, offering divine guidance. Chapter 3. The Grimoire Protocols ## Medieval Magic and Practical Demonology. Time shifts to Canterbury, England, 1307. Brother Augustine works by candlelight in the monastery scriptorium, copying texts that the church officially denies exist. His hands shake not from the cold but from horror as he transcribes summoning instructions for Lilith, the queen of demons. The medieval period marks the golden age of supernatural folklore, where theological speculation merged with practical occultism, leading to comprehensive systems of demonic interaction that defy modern categorization. The grimoire tradition presents Lilith not as a mythological figure, but as an active supernatural force that requires specific protocols for summoning, negotiating with, and ultimately confronting. As medieval scholars uncovered ancient texts, they noted that the terrifying nature of Lilith and the practices associated with her could no longer be dismissed as mere juvenile superstition. The rituals, detailed step by step, offered instructions on how to command her power, all the while acknowledging the severe risks involved with such dark practices. Confronting the darkness through this grim examination of texts, a chilling pattern emerges, a blend of history, lore, and psychological insight that digs deep into the fears and identities of those who sought the supernatural. Lilith transformed from a mythologized threat into a symbol of rebellion against patriarchal rule, a representation of what happens when the feminine spirit is misunderstood or oppressed. These grimoires, often written in cryptic language, incorporated protective spells, talismans, and complex rites designed to keep Lilith at bay, showing an underlying awareness of power dynamics structured into these supernatural beliefs. These beliefs resonated through centuries, influencing cultures beyond Judeo-Christian paradigms and leaving traces of representation that can still be observed today. Conclusion: the enduring legacy of Lamashtu and Lilith. So what can we take away from this journey through time? The tales of Lamashtu and Lilith reveal not just fears of the supernatural but the darker facets of humanity's psyche, the dread of mortality, the fear of female empowerment and the terror of the unknown. They encapsulate how ancient civilizations grappled with their realities, constructing narratives that served both as warnings and reflections of their circumstances. These stories remind us that monsters, whether they come in the form of vengeful demons or societal constructs, are often born from pain, misunderstanding, and the continuous conflict between human desires and the dark that lurks just beyond comprehension. Moreover, the examination of these texts, the myths, and the protective practices reflects humanity's struggle against fear and the quest for understanding in a world rich with mystery. As we dig deeper into history's depths, we uncover layers of truth that challenge our modern interpretations and provoke thrilling inquiries into the nature of evil, the supernatural, and the ever-relevant struggles for autonomy and power. If you find these hidden histories as compelling as we do, make sure to subscribe to our channel and ring that notification bell. Share your thoughts in the comments about which aspects of these ancient stories resonate most with you, and continue to join us as we unearth the fascinating and often unsettling truths that define our past and shape our understanding of the world today. Subscribe to our channel and hit the bell to support our work. Never miss an upload. Like this vid, drop a comment and share it with others to help us grow this historical community.